Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the last stop before AEW Halloween Havoc. What a show we have lined up for you tonight. I'm sure it will be JR, because tonight we'll see the Machine Brian Cage in action once again, and CM Punk will be in his corner. Plus, we'll be hearing from Cody once again and how he has been preparing for his lights out match against Cage. After what happened last week between Mox, the Young Bucks, MJF, Wardlow and Spears, we'll see them in a 6-man tag. That should be quite something heading into that steel cage match at Halloween Havoc. And Pac is putting his TNT Championship on the line, and that's next. So we get a 59 for this opening segment with JR, Excalibur and Tony Schiavone here at the K. Yeager Coliseum in front of 6,000, almost 7,000 fans. It's increasing every week. So we have a look at the card then for tonight. The Machine Brian Cage in action again in an unsanctioned match. Jon Moxley and the Young Bucks, they seem to have a bit of a rapport together inside the ring, so they team up again. And also we have a 3-way women's tag team match. Alison Kay and Marty Bell teaming up to take on Chris Statlander, Toni Storm, Sarah Rowe and Dr. Britt Baker. Will they be able to coexist? We'll find out. Damascus takes on Chris Jericho. But up next, the TNT Championship is on the line. So Pac comes out along with Pentagon Jr. and Rey Fenix. He calls for a mic. The last few weeks have proven why the Death Triangle need to be taken seriously. We will always get what we want and nobody can stop us. Now, I haven't stepped in this ring for a few weeks, so I've been kind of busy, so I'm willing to put this TNT Championship on the line against anyone willing to face their worst nightmare. Pac gets ready when Hangman Page's music hits. Of course, we saw Hangman Page released last week from the Death Triangle's clutches after they took him hostage, and Private Party bowing to their demands. We get an 83, great opener. Hangman Page comes out the top of the entranceway flanked by Private Party with a mic in his hand, and he goes on to say, "I gotta ask, was you really prepared to take my life, Pac? Because you're gonna wish you did, because just sanctioned for right now, me and my boys here are taking out Death Triangle. And then at Halloween Havoc, they'll finish the job once and for all by beating your amigos. Oh, and because I have nothing to do this Saturday, well, I suppose I could go to the local bar and watch the show there while sinking a few. I've decided I'm coming for you and your TNT Championship." So up next we've got a 6-man tag. Hangman teaming up with Private Party again to take on Death Triangle. And then at Halloween Havoc, we got Private Party putting their #1 contendership for the tag team championships on the line against the Lucha Brothers, Pentagon Jr. and Rey Fenix. And also Hangman Page will be challenging Pac for his TNT Championship. Page could be walking away from Halloween Havoc with another title. Anyway, it's a strong opening match to Dynamite this week in a bout that had great wrestling, good heat. Hangman Page and Private Party defeat Death Triangle in 19 minutes when Hangman Page pinned Rey Fenix with a turn the page. He was never going to pin Pac in this 6-man tag, and I found it kind of difficult to try and put Page over Pentagon Jr. So the next one down was, of course, Rey Fenix. But Isaiah Cassidy, Mark Quinn, their in-ring performances are absolutely rocketing. I'm loving it at the moment. Their popularity is going up. Everything is just heading in the right direction for Private Party at the moment. They're #1 contenders, which is on the line at Halloween Havoc, but that's disappointing to see about Excalibur's work being penalised. But everything's going in the right direction at the moment for Private Party. As we move into our next segment, we get an 85. Holy... Cody is seen at home, sat poolside, and he goes on to say, "A lights out match. They can be chaotic, they can be violent, and they can be devastating. They can even take years off a career. As we draw closer to Halloween Havoc, I've had nothing but, are you sure you want to do this? Or are you ready? Or Cage is a machine. The constant doubt, the worry, might get to some, but it's just made me stronger because everyone that tunes in on Saturday will see another side of Cody that they may never have seen before." Cody lights a cigar and basks in the sun. So we get an 85 for this quick segment called Personality Storyline Automatically Advancing. Cody worked the crowd well. The angle got the crowd hotter. What a strong start to Dynamite this week when it comes to segment ratings. An 85. It's incredible. As we move into the Machine, Brian Cage's match, who takes on Cody at Halloween Havoc. In an extremely short match, it's Brian Cage that overcomes Marco Stunt. Was there any other outcome? In 3 minutes with a pump handle face buster. Got 55. The colour commentary, well, the announcing was pretty decent. Brian Cage had an in-ring performance of 61, pretty average. As we move into the next segment, obviously CM Punk was at ringside, so after the match, CM Punk steps into the ring alongside Cage. He goes to raise his hand in celebration, but Cage pulls away and then exits the ring. Cage then confronts Jurassic Express, who are tending to Stunt just at the bottom of the entrance ramp. He smirks and walks past. Punk grabs a mic. The Machine, Brian Cage, everyone! The guy that is going to destroy Cody this Saturday at Halloween Havoc. I won't need to get in the ring, Cody, because once he is done with you, you won't be fit to walk, let alone talk. You'll be spending the rest of your days sat at home with your wife Brandy caring for you. Then maybe AEW will be a bit more tolerable. See you Saturday. Punk drops a mic and walks out. Pipe bombs all around as this segment gets a 76. But there does seem as though there's a bit of dissension there between Cage and CM Punk after that revelation was revealed from Cody a couple of weeks ago. We move into the next segment. Kenny Omega approaches Hangman Page backstage in the locker room. Kenny, hey man, so good to see you doing well after all that with Death Triangle. Page, yeah. Look, I've got this thing with Lance Archer on Saturday at Halloween Havoc. Once that's out of the way, I hope we can sit down and talk things through. Yeah. Hangman Page being a bit off here. And then Omega, you know, I'm sorry I couldn't be there, that I couldn't save you. But you know, you had your mate's private party, right? I was going to add another yeah in there, but Kenny grabs his things and walks out as Hangman takes a swig from a bottle of Bud. This segment getting an 86. I think it's because I've upped the time on the segment, so having someone like Kenny Omega in there who's just fantastic at absolutely everything, it's up the overall rating, which is fantastic. I don't like doing it because in real life you wouldn't have a segment like this going on for what, 5 minutes or so. It's just totally unheard of. But anyway, we move into the next match. It's the three-way women's tag team match. Allysin Kay teaming up with her friend Marty Bell. It is a bout that didn't have much heat and terrible wrestling, but it's Toni Storm and Chris Statlander that come out on top. It's interesting throwing Sarah Rowe in there alongside Dr. Britt Baker. Obviously, Rowe seems to have targeted Britt Baker since her arrival here in AEW, whether that be taunting. It's not the best of ratings, is it? Not the best of responses either, but looking at Toni Storm with a 53, Britt Baker 40 and a 48 for Sarah Rowe. I think we all know where this is going really for the women's division. We've bolstered it, but I think they're probably going to be our key players going forwards in that division. Up next, we see Cody once again. He's at home and he's watching tapes of Brian Cage while smoking his cigar. He rewinds, pauses and plays, constantly looking for points in which he can target this Saturday at Halloween Havoc. Cody turns to the camera and says, "It's going to be tough, but he ain't a machine." He carries on watching. The camera then looks down at a small table beside him. There are DVDs with CM Punk written across them. So he's obviously studying CM Punk as well. And this segment rating is better than his other one. It gets an 87. The segment rating so far, we're absolutely killing it. 2 from Cody, and that one from Kenny and Hangman Page. It's fantastic to see. CM Punk was the road agent as well for this. The performance of Cody was great. And then we move into our next match, which was made last week on Dynamite. And it's Jericho that defeats Damascus Broken Matt Hardy in 13 minutes 32 after a code breaker. Jericho the better performer in this one. Jericho and Matt Hardy have great chemistry though, and it showed in their performances. So Jericho goes into Halloween Havoc on a win, as he is set to take on Darby Allin. Should be an interesting one, and hopefully a much better match segment rating. I seriously can't wait for you guys to see that one at Halloween Havoc. In our next segment, after the match, Jericho looks tired, but he's celebrating with Sammy Guevara when all of a sudden the lights go out in the arena. Someone put some money in the meter. They come back on, and Darby Allin is standing in the middle of the ring holding his skateboard. Sammy goes for him, but gets hit in the midsection with the skateboard. Jericho starts backing off, but then also goes for Darby Allin with a clothesline. Darby ducks and then hits Jericho across the back with the skateboard. Then again, until he falls to the canvas. Darby is relentless. Darby climbs to the top turnbuckle. Sammy sees this and just about covers Jericho with his own body. Darby hits a coffin drop onto both Sammy and Jericho and then stands tall above them. Darby goes over to Matt Hardy, sticks his hand out to help him to his feet. Hardy accepts. So no longer is Darby standoffish with Matt Hardy. Interesting to see. Darby Allin struggled though, going off script, and the same goes for Sammy Guevara as well, but it got a 67. I'm happy with that, and it's told the story heading into to Halloween Havoc with that match between Jericho and Darby Allin. Can't wait for that. Anyway, we get a quick rundown of the Halloween Havoc card for this Saturday. So we've got Jon Moxley against Wardlow in a steel cage. Then we've got Kenny Omega against Lance Archer. That'll be an interesting one to put together. You know, two dynamics, two different style of performers. So I'm looking forward to putting that one together for you guys. And also we've got Pac against Hangman Page with the TNT Championship on the line. Private Party against the Lucha Brothers with the #1 contendership on the line also. Jericho against Darby Allin, as we've just spoke about, and Cody against Brian Cage in that lights out match. And that gets a 73, that segment. So we're not doing too bad with the ratings so far. I think this is looking like one of our better episodes of Dynamite when it comes to overall ratings. And oh boy, we just go from one amazing rating to the next. In a good match, Jon Moxley and the Young Bucks defeat MJF, Wardlow and Shawn Spears in 17-15. 50 I should say, when it was Jon Moxley that pinned Shawn Spears. So that's 3 times now Mox has pinned Shawn Spears over the last 3 weeks. Oh my word. After a paradigm shift, Moxley and the Young Bucks, they do seem to have quite good chemistry. I know it's not actually mentioned there in the report, but they do seem as though they have good chemistry. They always seem to put in a decent match when teaming up. We saw that weeks ago before we went into All Out, if you remember, against the Inner Circle. But after the match, both MJF and Wardlow go to attack Jon Moxley, but the Young Bucks slide into the ring and stop them in their tracks. Spears then stands alongside MJF and Wardlow. 3v3. They stare one another down. Then the fists fly. The Young Bucks hit a synced super kick to Spears, but somehow MJF managed to duck and exit the ring. The only one standing is Wardlow. The Bucks hit another double super kick on Wardlow. He flails, but he is still standing. MJF is watching from outside the ring by the ramp. He looks distraught. Mox kicks Wardlow in the stomach and then hits the paradigm shift. This Saturday at Halloween Havoc, it'll be Mox versus Wardlow inside a steel cage. So this gets a 72. I think, in my opinion, that's a really strong ending to the go-home show for Dynamite as we head into Halloween Havoc, which will be the next episode. I wonder how we've done. What's the overall rating? It's got to be up towards 79. Wow. I think that's the best. That's again another pay-per-view worthy show that we've put on here. Just looking at the overall rating, not even at the matches, and I think that's the best Dynamite we've done as well. That's definitely got to be better than NXT this week, surely. We had those segments from Cody, certainly helped us on our way. It's a strong end, great main event, which got an 81. Great start as well with Pac and Death Triangle, with Private Party and Hangman Page. Oh my word. Just going from strength to strength here. It's turning out better than I'd expected, really. With this save, absolutely loving it, and I hope you guys are as well. Week after week we are just getting better, we're increasing our popularity. Hopefully it won't be long before we're competing with Raw and SmackDown. There is social media drama here with Brian Kelly. Social media storm that has raged around Brian Kelly for the past week or so finally got too much for him, and he has deleted his accounts earlier today across all of social media. It's a horrible experience for him, and he has done no favours for the WWE either. Interesting. Wonder what that was all about. Huge amount of abuse. Dynamite's report then, the feedback from viewers has been excellent. It seems they have really struck gold with this show. It's normally what we'd see after a pay-per-view event, not just Dynamite. Retirement for Sabu. The homicidal, genocidal, death-defiant Sabu is officially retiring, but he's going to complete the next 3 months worth of dates before he does hang up his boots. That's sad to see. Last night's NXT, it's drawn a lot of praise. Hasn't struck gold though, has it? It's drawn a lot of praise. That's all. They've got a new team as well of Jack Gallagher and Timothy Thatcher. It's an interesting dynamic, that. And Adam Rose is leaving the business. Oh, remember Adam Rose? Looks so weird in that picture. Anyway, let's see if we've beaten NXT in the Wednesday Night Wars this week. So we got a show rating of 79. The show achieved a 1.9. Gathered 1.4 million viewers. Let's have a look at NXT. Oh, they got a 67 show rating. We've absolutely beaten them this week, but only just, because they had a total of 1.425 million viewers, whereas we had 1.428. So it's only just, but their show rating, a 67, that's poor. Normally they're up in the 70s at least, but 67, dear oh dear. But anyway, that is it for this edition of AEW Dynamite. I hope you guys have enjoyed. I'll see you all very soon for AEW Halloween Havoc.